Hey friends, in today's video I'm going to be going over how we can design and cut this little pouch with your cutting machine, so Cricut, Scan and Cut, um, using shapes with your design software. And I hope you'll join me for this video. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you hit that subscribe button. I have just gone over 1,000 subscribers, so I want to thank you all so much for supporting my channel. And let's get sewing.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is open up Design Space. So if you haven't already done that, go ahead and do that. And we have a blank canvas here, and what I'm going to do is go to Shapes and select a shape. And in this case, I'm selecting the oval shape. And we're going to size this so that we have the size of pouch that we want. So I play around here a little bit with the size, but in the end, I believe I have a 6.5 by 4.25 size pouch. But you can make this any size you want. Just make it look the way you feel you want to have it, and just keep in mind that this is going to be folded in half and sewn along the raw edge. So you want it to be long enough that you can fold it in half and still have a decent sized pouch. So I'm just resizing here to get a size that I like. And when I'm happy with that, then we're going to create our zipper opening. So in order to create the zipper opening, what we need to do is go and select another shape, and I'm selecting the square. And I'm going to turn the square a different color just to make it easier to see. So to do that, you just go into the settings and change the color and hit apply. And now we're going to resize this square to 0.4 by 3.5, and that's a size that will fit nicely across my pouch, leaving a little bit of an edge so that I can sew on the sides without catching the zipper on the ends of the pouch. So once I have my size here, I'm going to center this on my oval shape for the pouch. So I'm going to select it, and using the guides, it will tell me when it's exactly center, and I'm just going to lay it there. And then what we need to do is open up layers. So we're going to slice this out, and I'm going to select both the square and the oval, and then we're going to go to Actions. And when you're in Actions, click Slice. Then click out of the image, and you're going to pick up that rectangle that you created for the zipper and just slide it right out of there, and you can delete those two pieces. And that's it. There you have your little pouch. It's as simple as that, and I don't usually line this, but you could if you wanted to, and you could create a second piece for lining as well that matches this.
Hey everyone. All right, so now that we have our project created in Design Space, all we have to do is we are going to get our Cricut ready and make this project. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my vinyl. Now I have a piece of vinyl here that should fit my project no problem. It is approximately 9 inches by 6 inches or so, which is definitely bigger than I need, but I just wanted to make sure I had enough vinyl to put down on my mat that I could also tape down so that this doesn't shift or move around. I do suggest you use a strong grip mat, especially when you're cutting vinyl. And I put the pretty vinyl side down, face down on the mat when I'm getting this ready, just so that if you have any kind of fuzzy backing on your vinyl, it won't get all stuck to your mat and leave a bunch of fuzz on your mat. This one's not particularly fuzzy, but I do get a better stick when I put the shiny, pretty side of the vinyl down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready, and then we're going to take this to the Cricut and get this going and get it cut out. All right, so I'm just placing it face down on my strong grip mat, giving it a nice press to make sure it's down nice and solid. And normally what I would do is I would put down some painter's tape to make sure that this doesn't slip around. I can't see my painter's tape handy in this big mess of my room, but after having stuck this down, it does feel very, very secure on my mat. So I think I'm going to chance it, and I'm going to just go ahead and cut it just the way it is. So the settings that I use when I cut, I'm going to be using my rotary blade. And whenever I'm cutting like a lightweight to mid-grade vinyl, I use the moleskin setting. So go ahead, get your Cricut turned on, and load up your mat with the vinyl that you want to use. And we're going to get cutting. All right, friends. So I have my Cricut machine turned on, and I apologize for the glare. I'm not doing a screen recording here. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing on the Cricut. So I have my project here and it's ready to go. I'm going to click Make It on my iPad. And I hadn't saved this, so I'm just going to save this as pouch. Okay, so now it's showing up on my mat. And what I want to do is I actually want to turn this around because of the way that I placed my vinyl on the cutting mat. So I placed my vinyl kind of long side, running top to bottom. So I'm just going to have to rotate this project, and that's really easy. There's a little arrow here, and we can use that and turn our project. So I'm just going to make sure it's placed within the perimeters of my vinyl. So my vinyl, I can't exceed anything more than 7 inches across and 9 inches down. So this looks fine. It's about in the 5 by 6.5 range for cutting my vinyl. So now that that's all set up, you're going to click Next. It's going to ask you to choose your maker or whatever cutting machine you're using. And I'm going to click Next. Okay, so I've hit Next, and now it's going to bring us to the screen where it wants us to select our material. Now, I have already some of my favorites here, and I am going to choose moleskin. And I'm also going to give it more pressure, just to make sure that it cuts through perfectly the first time. So now it's instructing me to load my tools and mat. It's asking for a rotary blade. And then once we have our mat loaded, it asks us to press the flashing arrow button. So I'm going to put the iPad down now and get my mat loaded. Okay, so here we have the mat. I'm going to line it up in the guides, get it all aligned, and I'm going to press, there's a shining arrow button here, right here. So it's lined up in the mat. I'm going to press the button. It is going to load into the Cricut. And when it's checked that I have the correct blade and everything looks good, we're going to click the start arrow and it's going to cut out our pouch. All right, so you can see the start arrow is blinking. I'm going to press that and off we go. We're going to cut our little pouch out. It should only take a couple of minutes, not even. Okay, I'm going to press the flashing arrow button to release my mat. And there we have it. Our pouch is cut out and ready to go. So let's get to the sewing machine. Okay, so here I have my vinyl for the pouch, and I also have a zipper. My zipper is approximately just shy of 4 inches. What we want when we put the zipper down is we want it to just barely cover your zipper hole. We don't necessarily want it completely touching your edge here where you're going to sew. So you should have about just a little over 1/8 of an inch and a scant 1/4 inch on either side of your zipper tape. So to make life easier, I am going to use 1/8 inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to place some of that down. This is a brand new roll, so I'm trying to find the end. I'm going to place that on my zipper tape. I can't find the end. Ah, there we go. Okay. So just enough that we can stick the zipper down and it's not going to move around on us when we place it. So on the very edge of your zipper tape, we don't want this showing on the outside of your pouch. So just try to keep it as close to the edge as possible. It's also not necessary to go completely to the edge of your zipper tape, just enough that we can stick this down and get it centered nicely. Okay, we're going to adhere that tape. What's nice about this quick little project is there's no lining required. You could print out on your Cricut some heat transfer vinyl that matches the shape and adhere it to the inside if you'd like. Make it a little fancier, but absolutely not necessary if you have a vinyl that has a decent backing. Nobody's really going to look inside your pouch anyways, so I usually don't put anything in there unless I'm feeling extra fancy. Okay, so I'm going to take off the tape on one side, going to lay my zipper down, centered, and it's probably actually better for me to get the zipper teeth in that hole. Oh, I'm glad I stopped myself just now. You need to put your zipper pull on before you add this zipper into your pouch opening. That was almost a zipper disaster. Super important. You need the zipper pull if you ever want this pouch to open. So bear with me while I get my pull on here after I've already put double-sided tape, which is not making my life very easy at all. There we go. So that should do it. There we go. Okay. take two. So I am going to make sure that my zipper teeth are centered over the opening. And I'm going to press down that double-sided tape. Take a look on the other side. So it looks pretty good here. Okay. Make sure that is how I want it. Looks like my pull is off just slightly. So, you know, I'm not going to be happy with that. So I'm going to pull it off and redo it. I'm leaving this side stuck. So what I do is I take a look and see the teeth. So the teeth on the left side of my zipper tape are higher than the teeth on the right side. So I start by placing my pull in on the left and then on the right. Get them as even as I can. Usually you can hear it click together when they're seated correctly. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, so let's pull that zipper pull on. Oh yes, much better. All right, so now that I have one side stuck down, I'm going to lift up my pouch out of the way and pull the tape from the other side. Pull the paper from my tape on the other side. And then I'm going to bring it down evenly. We're going to press that into place. So now all we need to do is sew around the edge of this zipper opening with 1/8 inch seam allowance. So because we are dealing with very little space on the ends and there's a zipper pull in the way, I do like to start on one of these ends and sew at 1/8 of an inch and come around so that when I need to pull my zipper pull out of the way, I know it's not going to come flying off the end. Okay. So you can choose to leave your threads long here and then tie off, which I think I will do. And we are going to top stitch this zipper tape in. I'm using a number 4 stitch length. Okay. Maybe go one. You may need to bring your stitch length down just a tad in those corners to make sure that you can get to your 1/8 inch seam allowance on the side. All right. I just need to pull my zipper pull out of the way a little bit here. Okay, now I'm going to bring it back up to the top, and now I don't have to worry that that zipper pull is going to fly off the end of my pouch because I started there. Not a fan of the placement right here, so you can always pull up and straighten if you don't like the way your zipper is seated in that opening. There, that's much better. Turn. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to come back around. Snip our threads, and then I'm going to turn this over to the back and pull my threads to the back so that you cannot see that top stitch. And sometimes one of your threads doesn't want to come through. So I'm going to just tie these off. A few tight knots. And snip those. So now all we have to do is fold our pouch in half. Now you want this zipper to be sitting flat across the top. So you want to make sure that your ends, so you don't want your zipper like this, you don't want your zipper like this. You want it sitting flat across the top. So this might take a little finagling to get that in there when you want to sew it together, but really now all we need to do is evenly clip this together. I start at these top corners to make sure that my zipper is sitting really nicely. And make sure you're even all the way around. Should be pretty perfect if you cut this on your Cricut or Scan and Cut or whatever machine you use to cut. And then all we're going to do is we are going to top stitch all the way around the edge. So you could just do a plain straight stitch, you could do a decorative stitch here, it's completely up to you. And then that's it, your pouch is finished, and then you can go ahead and edge paint those edges. And if you want to see a video about making your own edge paint, then I do have one available. It's my last video before this one, and I make my own edge paint to paint a pouch just like this. So I really want to thank you for watching my video and subscribing to my channel. If you haven't already, please go and hit that subscribe button. I just hit 1,000 subscribers today, so I'm super excited about that. That's a big milestone for me. Okay, we're going to snip all our little threads here. I take my lighter and actually burn the ends of those threads to make sure they don't come undone. And there we have it. A really super easy, super cute little pouch, little coin pouch, and cut out on your Cricut and sewn up in less than 5 minutes. So go get your edge paint, and Watch my video if you want to learn how to make your own edge paint and cover these beautiful little edges up, and enjoy. Thanks, friends.